Last week, I wished I was in the King's study at Buckingham Palace. The Duke of Sussex had only been back on British soil for a few hours when the first arriving aeroplane descended on the palace's back lawn. Even abroad, the often pouty royals loved cheap passing statements, the weapon of choice. Unfortunately, at 2:30 p.m. the same day, the Sussex team informed the press that the King and the Duke of Sussex would not meet during the Duke's tour of the UK due to His Majesty's busy program. This was done on the armorial letterhead they were using. The Duke is of course sympathetic to his father's diary with his commitments and various other priorities and hopes to see him soon, so there is no need for the Duke of Sussex to worry. The Duke of Sussex has apparently retained his knowledge of royal jargon even after moving to California. The only sons who would publicly proclaim their happiness at their father's decision to read Dullsville Wild Hall papers with a chamomile tazan instead of wishing for a meeting are the most understanding sons. You see, the Duke's statement clearly suggested that His Majesty had rejected the request of an emotionally mature son. Palace, on the other hand, kept a low profile, wore wigs, and kept the cards under lock and key until the weekend. As for the King crew team, the gloves seem to have dropped after a number of articles appeared claiming that the Duke of Sussex's story was essentially a case of Californian alternative facts. Put another way, it could be said that the West End has become home to mass cobblers. The events of the Duke's visit last week have been the subject of heated debate, with several of His Majesty's loyal subjects raising their voices to disagree with Harry's interpretation. They claim that the King provided the Duke of Sussex with a room, but that the Duke slept in a hotel instead, and that the King also turned down a request to visit his father. If the late Queen's motto was, "Never complain, never explain," it seems that the King has decided in one fell swoop to get rid of that idea, as well as all the corgi trinkets on all the mahogany surfaces at Windsor Castle. The King's desks in Fleet Street were obviously experiencing serious problems with their telephone connection. Compared to more affluent parts of London, a friend of His Majesty's told Royal Nick, the royal editor of the Sunday Times, that the recollections may once again suggest that the King refused to write in his diary. Remember, as a mate pointed out, the King certainly agreed to see his son at the most vulnerable moment of his illness in February, and at very short notice. One of His Majesty's cronies told Kate Mancy of the Times that the palace was stung by the Duke's claim that the King had neglected him. A friend of the P-Plate Netflix producer warned Mancy to be highly suspicious of the claim that the producer had invited his father to attend the Invictus service or even to watch the Duke. In addition, if the Duke of Sussex wants official protection in the UK, he must now give the Home Office 28 days' notice. One of the Duke of Sussex's aides told Nick, "I can't imagine that the Duke's request to the King has fallen through, guaranteeing the royal family's guests a busy weekend. Could His Majesty not have asked to visit his son even if they didn't get the request? I find it hard to imagine that they wouldn't have done so. Everyone knew he was on his way." What are your thoughts on the matter? Share them in the comments. Thanks and have a great day.